And I did a pretty bad job spraying it too, because it is really cold and probably too cold for spraying fixative, honestly. Yes, and choked myself. Okay, so I'm gonna redraw so that, yeah, so, because I don't like to feel confused. So while I'm painting, I wanna kind of know what's going on. So I'm gonna start right up here. I'm gonna start with the pear, which I never drew very carefully anyway. And one thing I love about pears is their chunky quality. And one way you get that is by looking for the series of straight lines that make the pear, wow, turn. And then right here, so I'm going to see this, that bit of drapery needs to come up a little higher behind the pear. And then here we have this really dark shape. And I can feel right here where it goes over the, well, golly, I just keep breaking my charcoal. It's getting shorter and shorter. Where the edge of the drapery goes right over the shelf. And that comes here, kind of goes around. And then there's a little bit that's a little lighter that comes through here, and a little darker kind of in here. Like that. And this, man, I never got that right. All right, so this is a dark bit in here. It comes down to here. And then it kind of does that. And then this is that darker and that really dark little place in here. And okay, so yes, no wonder I keep being confused right here. So here's that really dark place right there. And then there's this really light place, and then this is where the little triangle starts, right in here. And I don't know what I thought that line was, but it doesn't belong there. Okay, so here's my little triangle shape. And then here's this really dark space. Really dark shape right there. this little dark shape is higher. All right, so come back and put in the darks again. I'm having to push on it so hard to get that dark to go down. It's knocking everything. I just feel like I've got it too broken up, so I'm just going to come back and pull it together a little bit more. Oh, and I gotta do something about that mess. Yeah, I see I oversprayed it right there, so luckily this is just a study, because that kind of overspray mess right there would probably be the end of it as a finished painting, because it's so hard to cover up that. It's like becomes a slick spot. All right, let's see if I can make some lighter places now without losing it. Stupid tape. Yeah, so, okay, I think what I'm gonna do right now is take a serious break from this because I don't know what it is. I'm just not able to concentrate enough or something. So I'm gonna come back and then I'll start thinking about what areas in the folds, like how do I wanna move your eye through these folds and not just have everything be so equal. So that to me would be the next step. And I guess, you know, the idea would be to move your eye up into this pear and then maybe, I don't know what, over back here sort of? I'm not sure. So I have it all laid in. I corrected the drawing once and I think I'm gonna just live with it now. So what I want to start thinking about, just so I can show you, is how I'm going to try to move the viewer's eye through this painting. So I'm going to use this shape in the bottom left-hand corner, this sort of triangle shape. I had a teacher who called this the activator shape that pushes your eye up into the painting. So I want that to push my eye up. I don't want it to be too, like, catch my eye down here. I want it to serve as a shove. And so then following this up and then back down and then following this up and back down is my plan. It's not as obvious with the still life objects as it is with the portrait. We were discussing the pearl earring the other day and how they found that people really look at it, they get caught in a loop where they go from the mouth to the eye to the pearl to the mouth to the eye to the pearl. And this is not the same kind of thing because there's nothing in it as compelling as looking someone in the eye. But that's my plan. So I'm going to start down here and I'm going to soften this edge and I'm just going to try to bring the attention up as I go. There probably, you know, needs to be something over here. So maybe it's more like try to do this and then bring my attention here and then bring it back up. Well, we'll see. It's an idea. And I'm just going to try to be a little more careful and not so reckless. Okay, good. That was a good start at not actually making something better. So I just want to soften this whole edge down here so you don't get stuck in that corner. But it does need a little more dark. And I do have the colors out here on the edge of my table that I have been using. But that doesn't mean I shouldn't maybe search for some other colors. And things like this, I might keep it a little stronger and harder right here where it comes toward the middle. But I'm going to try to make it a softer thing as it goes up there. Oh, golly, that was not, but it's okay. It was green. I thought it was blue. And here's my blue over here. Same thing, trying to make sure that my eye comes into that place and doesn't follow that line out. I really like the way I can use this just on the side here to like make a harder edge or a softer edge. It's kind of cool. Wow, what was, that's blue, but it didn't actually go down. I'm gonna really try to avoid having to spray this again because it's even colder today than yesterday, so it was kind of a disaster spraying it yesterday because I ended up overspraying it. And I'm looking for the places I want to be accented. And I'm looking at value contrast. So like here's a place, definitely too much value contrast in there. Oh yeah, and what else am I doing right now? I'm baking bread. Just so you know, I'm multi-talented. Okay. And down in here we need more dark. So I've identified over here, I have probably 20 colors. And that's just mostly what I'm using now. And I mentioned before that I felt like it just looked like a multi-stripe cloth. It didn't look like the whole thing was blue. So I'm trying to make sure that the whole thing looks blue. And I think if you try something like this, that which I really do think you should, but you know, just remember what you're really trying to do is learn something. It's not trying to end up with a finished product exactly. It's more about learning something. And here, the same thing, I don't want that line to lead you out of the picture. So I'm going to make it less intense as it goes down there, and then I can pick it up, make it a stronger edge up here somewhere. And try, it's hard because you just keep wishing you could make it perfect. The stupid tape. I wonder if yeah, so try not to work too long in one place, even though it's hard because you just think, oh, I did not really make that as good as it should be. Just if you can make it a little bit better and then move on to the next place, that way you can be sure the whole thing is hanging together. Hanging together. And something like this, like as I said, I don't even know if it's a painting or a photograph, but it's pretty much all very hard-edged, as if it was a photograph. So even if it's a painting, the edges are all really hard. So when you look at stuff, you're going to make a decision about your edges, about what's going to be in focus, what's going to be out of focus, how you want to draw the viewer's eye. And all those things are what make your painting individual, even if you paint, you know, the same thing that someone else has painted. Oh, here's another clip. Yay. Yay. Rid of this stupid tape. Okay. Yay. It really bugs me when an edge is flapping around. Okay. Yeah, so keep moving around, keep thinking about how you want the viewer's eye to move, how you want them to look at your painting. You're the boss here. That's one thing we love about painting, is being the boss of this little world. I mean, there are other things where, in fact, you're not the boss. The painting has a life of its own, and it's making its own demands. And you're honestly just responding to those demands. But you know, if you want to kind of just keep thinking that, you know, you're not a victim. You're going to make decisions, and the better you get as a painter, the more you're going to know what the painting is asking for. I know that seems really weird, but I think of it maybe as just like with authors, that characters start to develop a life of their own, and the painting does too. So. And I know that on my best days, which is so great to have more good days than bad days, because, you know, in the beginning it was just, I had so many bad days. Days where I could not, you know, still the voices that I, you know, in my head when I was painting. Anyway, so it's great to have really good days. And on my best days, I really feel like a conduit for the painting. Whatever, I don't even know what that means exactly, but that it's kind of coming through me, not out of me. Well, I got kind of confused in here. You know, another thing is those guys, those great old guys, old masters and all that, you know, they worked in a lot of them worked in a workshop situation. So they had their fabric painter, the person that was really good at that, and that's what they studied, and they got good at it, and that's what they did. So we're probably, none of us, going to put the kind of time in. And really, do you want to be the fabric painter? Just the fabric painter? Like, no, I don't. Like, I feel like it's starting to look more like fabric. Starting to, like, have a flow, and remember what I said about having some strokes that go across the form? Not just with the form. So this is with, and this is across. Oh, golly. Hope I haven't had my hat in the painting here. But it takes a lot of concentration just to keep my head out of the stupid painting. Yeah. And then I forget. And I start thinking more about what I'm doing than where my head is. Where's my head at? Oh, golly, something's... Okay, this needs to be a little darker in here. And this is a little accent, maybe. So what happens is you have light softly turning into shadow, and then where the light starts again, it's often a harder edge. So we need this to be a soft turn. Light, half light shadow. And if you have all soft edges, that doesn't look that great. And if you have all hard edges, that doesn't look that great either. So you want a mixture of hard and soft edges in your fabric. And a lot of what I'm doing right now, I'm doing with different amounts of pressure, like really lightly or with a hard little edge, like here. And I really know I'm kind of jumping back and forth between copying what I'm seeing and I don't know what the other thing is I should be doing, but it's more like developing it, not copying it. And I never thought of that exact word before right this minute, so I don't know, but trying to develop the thing I want instead of just copying what's there. So actually, I think I'm kind of liking that, the idea of developing, not copying. Okay, so this is all looking pretty good, but as usual, I'm having a hard time reaching up here, so I'm not doing too well in that corner. Yep, just broke that baby. And the other thing is, it's a painting, for goodness sake, so I don't want it to have all just these, you know, licked down surface. I want it to have paint quality. And one thing that makes shadows different from areas that are in the light is that you can use more texture to give this illusion that you're seeing more detail in the light and less in the shadow. So in painting, it's called loading your lights and keeping your shadows kind of thin. And with pastels, the way I do it is I just have more texture in the lights and less texture in the shadows. Let's try a little purple. I feel like I need a t-shirt that says that. Let's try a little purple. I've really worked too long now on the drapery without working on the other parts of the painting. So I saw this funny one thing here. Just some funny little strokes that got left there. by a back end of a pastel or something that I wasn't paying enough attention to or something. And I don't really like that right there. Let's see if I'm just going to have to do something about that. Too funny a little shape right in there, huh? Okay, well, I know you're going to do a better job on this than I am because you're not going to be distracted by talking the whole time. And you're going to do a good job paying attention when you do your drapery. All right, so I'm going to just come up here and work on this pear a little bit. I don't even have any pear colors out. I just got the blues and things I was using for the... All right, so pear. So it's very tempting right away to use something that's just too light. And maybe I am, but let's see. Wow, that was truly nothing like what I thought it was. I thought that was some sort of olive green, and then it turned out to be a really bright green. I try not to panic when I use something pick up something that totally is different than what I expected it to be. Just say, well, you know, I bet I can work with that. I mean, honestly, what I say is, oh no, but what I try to behave like is this is something I can work with. All right, somewhere I have a very dark green. So I'm just going to try to really, am I, or do I want, you know, maybe, now I just noticed it's just it seems like the background is just a little lighter on the back side of this pear. So I'm just going to try that. And just draw a little edge in red to pop that forward a little bit. And then come back with the green. Yeah, and see how I lost that nice thing I had before of creating this circle out of straight lines. Let's see if I can get that back a little bit. I like this because it's giving me a little air in my background, which had zero air whatsoever. And I couldn't get rid of the scratches I made in the paper either, so that's just going to be part of that deal. In the photograph, the background is just super flat, but I don't know. That was one thing I didn't like about what I did. You know, I just dropped a color in there, and so there's no variation really in the background at all. I don't know why I'm doing this. Just going to say it. Just thought I'd try adding a little red. It was just something that crossed my mind, so I just wanted, like always, if it crosses my mind, I try it. Surely I have a white somewhere. Where is it gone? It says it's white, so it must be. Oh, sorry. I moved my heater. That's what it does. It makes a horrible noise if I move it when it's turned on. Okay, and there's a little reflected light too over here. So the rule, not to make a rule, but the general thing about reflected lights is they can't be as strong as the real light, because what happens is the light shines on here and hits here and reflects back in. So your darkest darks are somewhere more in the middle of the form, and depending on the surface that's behind here, like it's kind of a light color reflective surface, it is bouncing back into that. I don't know, why does it look so red to me when really it's green? What is going on? Some horrible eye disease, probably something degenerative. No, just kidding. Okay, so then I just want to do a little something on the stem. The stem is just, it's a great little place to make a little detail. Maybe not quite that bright. Oh, and I haven't done anything about this in a very long time, so I guess I better do something right there before I call it quits. Same thing, I want to be sure this is leading this way and not that way. right, yes, I know, that's terrible. I hate it when you do something terrible and then you have to fix it. No, I don't like any of that over there, so. I love this color, but it's a really soft pastel, so I don't seem to have that color in a harder pastel. So I don't want to just slam it on there. Okay, well, I mean, there's always something, right? Always something that could be a little better. So a little paper showing through here, a little too much paper showing through. And I feel like this color is too monochromatic, so I'm just going to add a little green or something into it. Oh, I'm going to try a little gray on that tabletop. It's like, this to me is a little bit of a tricky thing because it's a hard edge, right? It's wood, so it's a hard edge. But I don't really want it to be a hard edge back there, so I need to try to make it a soft edge without making it look like it's a soft edge thing. Oh, golly, look how much that pushed that edge back. geez, I kind of went out of the edges there and wished I hadn't. So sometimes that's a sign it's time to be done when you have to fix stuff a lot. That was one of my favorite things, but it just seems so distracting. Just see if I can do anything about it. And it's also really covered in pastel. God bless. Gotta find my dark one. Here it is. So I wasn't sure, was it distracting because it was too fuzzy, or was it distracting because it wasn't fuzzy enough? So I don't have a great sense of the answer there. Just need a little more light right here. A little less light right there. Watch this. Oh. You know, I don't really like to use my fingers because it's just you do it and it's so tempting to do it more. And next thing you know, the whole thing is slicked down and you've knocked all the life out of it. I just wanted that this place to come forward just a little more. Need that to be really dark in there, so I've got to find something even darker. Yeah, still a 508.3. So I softened my edges so much over there I lost the shape. But I don't want them outlined like that either. So. This feels like the forgotten corner to me right back here. All right, I'm going to say that I am done for now. And I hope I hope that was helpful about doing drapery. So thank you so much.